lights up on a cold, blustery, snow-covered night, somewhere in an unnamed town. A blanket of snow covers just about everything we can see, and there doesn't appear to be a soul around for miles and miles. Soon, onto the stage trudges a figure wrapped in rags and trying her very best to keep warm. This is Donna, aged about 15 or 16. She has on tattered gloves with holes in them, as well as a flimsy coat and dress. She frowns as she adjusts the winter hat she has on, then blows into her hands to warm them several times.
Oh, Jesus, cold. Oh, holy Jesus Louise, on a bike, it's freezing cold. I can't even feel my hands anymore. I'll be shocked if I ever bend these suckers again. I'm surprised my fingers haven't snapped off and fallen to the ground. It's so dang cold. Of course, the coldest night of the year, and I can't find shelter worth a darn.
Donna continues to trudge through the snow on stage, stopping briefly to pull her left foot out of a particularly deep patch of snow she steps into. After some difficulty, she manages to do so.
It's terrific. It goes right through the sock. Lovely. Just lovely. By the time I find shelter somewhere, I'll be ahead rolling through the snow. Every other part of me will freeze and snap off.
Donna attempts to clean her boot as best as she can. She sighs in vain after a few seconds of cleaning, though.
No sense in pulling this sucker off to get the snow out of it. I don't have time to fuss with it. The longer I'm out here, the worse I'll get.
Donna soon comes upon a bench that has slowly wheeled out onto the stage. She sighs with relief as she spots it.
Oh, thank goodness, a bench!
She rushes over to the bench and sits down on it, letting out a relieved sigh as she does.
At last, rest for my aching feet. This bench is like a frozen block of ice. But at least I'm off my feet for a few minutes.
Donna tiredly rubs her legs, then shivers and pulls her coat further around her body. She looks around in silence for a few moments, then heaves a sigh, a seemingly sad, lonesome, almost angry sigh.
What have you gotten yourself into? What have you done? Out here in the middle of the night in a snowstorm? Then again, you have been on your own for the last 6 months, ever since you walked out on Mom and Dad. But I had to get out of there. If I stayed in that house any longer with those two horrible monsters, I wasn't going to see my next birthday. I mean, all they did was drink and do drugs and steal things to pawn off for later. I wasn't fit for man or beast in that house. I'm much better off alone. At least alone, I don't have to constantly be on guard that they'll steal something of mine. Or worse. Donna, you're talking to yourself. You promised not to do that. At least people think you're some nut job.
Donna looks around slowly, almost as if taking stock of her current situation. She sighs and dusts off her winter hat of snow briefly, then speaks.
Okay, let's see. The church she passed claimed there were no more cots that I could use. That they reached their quota on the homeless sleeping there. A hotel or even a motel costs money. Money which I don't have. And I can't for the life of me remember where that woman's shelter is in town. Well, Donna, aren't you just in the most pleasant position, Stuck outside in 10-degree weather with no place to go? Well, not quite nowhere, no. There were those 3 seedy gang members who promised they'd give me shelter for the Right price, of course. I'm no dummy, though. I sure as heck know those guys weren't talking about money when they said right price. But I'm cold. Oh, Lord, I'm so cold. I mean, I suppose I can just shut my mind off and have no emotion about whatever price they have in mind. Hey, I'll at least have shelter, right? No, no, I'm not that kind of girl. I'm desperate to get into shelter, but I'm not that desperate. But what if there's no alternative? What if this offer from those guys is the difference between living and freezing to death? Oh gosh, I just don't know.
Slowly, unbeknownst to Donna, a second figure walks onto the stage. The figure, curiously, looks quite similar to Donna, except she is dressed in much finer, fancier, warmer clothes, and she appears to be much older, say her early to mid 30s. As Donna speaks to herself, the woman catches sight of her, then does a double take. The older woman rubs her eyes and peers at Donna, almost as if she can't believe what she's seeing. The woman creeps silently towards Donna, who stares ahead, still talking aloud to herself.
Goodness, there has to be something I can do. I know. I'll ask around to see if anyone can tell me where that woman's shelter is. Hopefully, I can find it, and they'll have the goodness in their hearts to let me stay for the night. Then in the morning, I'll reassess things. Now, if I can just find someone who I can ask to find that shelter.
On cue, the older woman slowly clears her throat and sits down on the bench next to Donna.
Donna? Donna, is that you?
Donna raises her brow and looks to the woman. The woman softly smiles as Donna, warily, on her guard, inches away from the woman slowly.
Who wants to know? Oh, for heaven's sakes, it is you. Donna, thank goodness I found you. Thank goodness it's not too late. Who are you? Who sent you, huh? Was it my parents? If it was, then get lost, lady. I'm not going back to them. No way. No how. No, I most certainly didn't come from your parents. Well, you don't look like anyone I know. So get lost before I scream. It might be a blizzard, but I'm sure a cop is out and about somewhere buried in the snow.
Silence. The older woman softly chuckles to herself as Donna raises her brow slowly.
What? What's so funny, huh? What are you laughing at? Goodness. I forgot how much of a firecracker I was back then. Forgot I was big on self-defense and the like. Wait, what did you say? I'm glad my hearing isn't as bad as it was back then, too. Say, lady, you're really starting to freak me out. With all this talk of back then and in my day? I'm just gonna go. You have fun being nostalgic.
The older woman grabs Donna's arm and stops her.
Donna, stop! Do not take another step. Hey! How the heck do you know my name? Huh? Who are you? I'm almost sure you won't believe it if I tell you. Try me. Donna, I know you because I am you. Pardon me? Donna, it's me. Well, it's you, rather. 15 years into the future. I am you, as an adult. You're right. I don't believe you. I had a feeling. Look, I don't know if this is some sick joke to you, or if my parents really did send you to find me, but I'm not sticking around to find out. I'm out of here. See you later, me.
Donna begins to go off.
Show me your left hand. What? Show me your left hand. I'm not showing a stranger my hand. Besides, in this weather, I'm not risking frostbite. You want proof I'm you, don't you? Show it. Fine.
She undoes the glove on her left hand and holds it out briefly.
There. There's my hand. Now here's my hand waving goodbye. See that scar there? On the back of your hand. Well, yeah. I see it. So what?
Older Donna, without uttering a word, pulls off the glove on her left hand. She holds out her exposed hand to Donna.
Look. Hey, it's a scar. And it looks exactly like mine. Remember when the neighbor's dog Scruffy bit our left hand when we were 7? That is where the scar is from.
Younger Donna is stunned, surprised, even a little scared. She slowly walks up to older Donna and looks her up and down. Older Donna nods, almost as if saying, yes, it's all true. Donna opens her mouth to speak, but no words come out.
Donna, come on now, say something. This is impossible. How is this happening? I just don't. Why is this happening? Never mind the how and the why. Just know this, Donna. No matter how tempting it might sound, no matter the promise of a warm shelter tonight, do not take up the offer of those 3 gang members. How'd you know about that? If you do take their offer, you'll go into their apartment, but you won't come out. At least, not on your own. You'll come out in a bag, on a gurney. They'll kill me? Trust me, Donna, it's not worth it. I know you're scared right now. Scared. And cold too. But I need to put this message to you. Things will be okay. I promise you. Things will be okay. Your parents, well, our parents, are just miserable, horrible, drunken drug addicts. They never did, and never will amount to anything. But you, Donna, you will. You're better than all of that. You'll soar above all of that horrible despair. You might have doubts. You might be scared and unsure. But I can tell you, I can promise you, it'll happen.
Silence. For the first time, Donna begins to show emotion. Tears well up in her eyes. She backs up a step and wipes her eyes, once, twice, then 3 times. Older Donna goes up to her younger self and gives her a comforting hug as her younger self sobs into her older self's chest briefly.
Shh, shh. It's okay. It's all right. How do you know for sure? It seems so hopeless right now. I've been homeless for 6 months. What if I die out here? You're not going to. That's the wonderful thing. Tomorrow, you're going to find that woman's shelter you were looking for. And there's going to be a social worker there that takes pity on you. She's going to give you a number to a halfway house. And the people there, they help you get back on your feet. Help you find a place to live, a part-time job. And most importantly, the confidence and inner courage you need to carry on. They will. They will. But that won't happen if you go to those gang members. Or even worse, if you give up hope. I was beginning to lose hope. But for you, well, for me, I'll carry on. I promise. Good. That's all I ask.
Older Donna slowly, silently, removes her warm winter coat and puts it around her younger self's shoulders. The younger Donna sighs with content and relief as she wraps the coat around her.
Better? Yeah, better. Good, good. If I were you, I'd go right around the corner from here. The second house on the right. A friend of yours lives there, right? If you go and knock on the door, her parents will take you in for the night. Around the corner? Second house? Oh! Sue Ellen Chambers, my high school friend. Yes, she does live around here. Thanks a lot. Me? Of course. Anytime. Now you get going before it gets any later.
Older Donna begins to walk off as Donna watches her in awe. Slowly, Donna looks at the coat she is wearing, then to older Donna again. She slowly calls out.
Wait a second. What about you? Don't you need this coat to be...
A flash of light and older Donna seemingly vanishes from stage. Donna does a double take at this. She can't believe her eyes.
What?
Donna takes a few steps forward and looks around for any sign of her older self.
Hello? Hello? Where did I go?
Donna continues to look around slowly, then a relieved, almost serene smile spreads across her face. She moves the coat closer to around her body, then looks up to the heavens and nods, still smiling.
Thank you. Thank you. Whoever did this, however it was done, thank you. I won't give up. I promise. I won't. Things will get better. Things will be okay. I know they will.
With a newfound determination, Donna strides off stage and into a hopeful future as the snow continues to slowly fall and the lights fade to black.